Dr. Bryant, for this interview with us. We always appreciate you for taking out the time, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you both for having me. I know that I've interviewed before with this beautiful woman, and it was really she did a great interview, great questions, very relatable, and it was just a good time. So I appreciate it, and I'm definitely excited to be back.
Well, we're excited to have you back.
Absolutely. For those that don't know about Dr. Bryant, I know your bio, your resume, like 30 pages. Can you briefly tell us a little bit about Dr. Bryant?
Absolutely. I am Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. I'm a psychology expert and life coach. I am the president of our local NAACP. I'm the founder of Dr. Bryant Institute, the founder of Dr. Bryant Foundation, and I am the on-camera life coach for the MTV's Teen Mom Family Reunion, which we totally killed the first season, I'm guessing, because we got the green light for season 2. So that's really exciting. I started off as a marriage, family, and child therapist about 13 years ago. And then I transitioned over into a hybrid, which is a life coach paired with marriage, family, and child therapy, psychodynamic, and CBT approaches, married with the life coaching, which is my modality, which is known as a hybrid. I always educate and say, therapy is a lot about tell me about your past, your childhood, what you've been through, what those relationships are like, so that we can have an understanding of how you got to the place that you are now, as far as your perception, your angle on things, how you choose, and what you're calibrating. Coaching is, okay, now that we understand your pain pockets, we know what you've gone through, we understand why you choose the way you choose, we understand why, your dysfunction shows up this way, why your healthiness shows up this way. Got it. So now who do you want to be and where do you want to go? And so they're both needed. And when you marry them, you get a hybrid, you have the full package of, we're going to get these pain pockets going. We're going to heal this stuff. We're going to fill up a lot of these empty holes and spaces that you got going on. And then we're going to go ahead and start to drive this machine to where you want to be, and how you want to show up, and obviously what that looks like for you. Because if we don't fill up these gaps, when you get to where you want to go, all you do is have stuff that spills over onto the newness of what you created. And then you have to backtrack anyways and say, okay, now that I'm here, why am I so unhappy? Now that I have this career, why am I empty? Now that I have this beautiful relationship, how come I can't allow myself the ability to love and love freely or unconditionally? And it's because we didn't get in contact with that stuff back there. And you don't have to get in contact with that stuff and stay there. That's not the idea, because some folks go there and stay there because it's familiar to them. You got to get in contact with that stuff to know. I have a saying in my book, Mental Detox. I say you have to feel, deal, and then only then can you heal. And once you do that stuff, which is the therapy stuff, now then we go into the coaching of, let's start to create this new narrative. Let's start to create who you want to be. What does that look like? Let's show up as him or her, and let's practice. Let's build that muscle. And then we start to I give tools on how you maintain that, because we can't get anything and stay there if we don't learn how to maintain it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let's go back, MTV Teen Mom. When I came across the information, I told Tocarra, and I was like, wow, because she interviewed you before, and you just never know where a person's life is going to go. And it was just very exciting that you was on, you are on that show. So how did you become involved on the show?
Yeah, a great question. So initially I was contracted with E-Network to have my own Dr. Bryant show, a totally different concept with that show. And so I was pretty much, in bed, or should I say, a part of the E-Network family. And so that means, when someone owns you, no one else can have you at that moment. And MTV had reached out when I was in contract with them and attempting to get me to kind of work with them and do different things. And I couldn't do it because I was with E-Network. And then finally, my guy, Chris, who's amazing at E-Network, was like, listen, we're going to let you out your contract early. We absolutely love your work. Just working with you on set, you've changed my life and my household, didn't even intend to do it. And you know what? I got you. Contract is ended. Go blossom, go be you. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so a few years actually after that, MTV circled back around and said, "What's up?" You know what I mean? Are you available? Are you free? What's going on? And from there, we, went through the process of what that would be like. And they said, you are the perfect fit. And you said, okay, let's rock and roll. And then, and I'm not surprised that this is where I landed. I always knew, like in my master's and my doctorate, our professors would ask, like, who's getting licensed? And everybody would raise their hand. And I was the only one, the anomaly, that did not raise my hand. And my professors always go, well, why are you going through 12, 13, all these years of schooling, right? To do what? And I said, because I'm gonna have my own show. And didn't know the capacity of it, but I did know that my intent was to have my show, not for the celebrity status, not for the ego of it. I already knew that I could, I should say, obtain that through just my private practice, because I'm very effective and this is my purpose. But it's more so that I can use a platform where you have millions of folks globally that can actually use my tools. They can use the stories of folks who are bold enough to share their story and their pain, right, on TV amongst people. And they can say, hey, I see my pain in you. And those tools that you gave that person, they are working for me. And so maybe I can't afford to go to therapy or coaching, or maybe I don't have the access to it, or maybe I didn't even understand that I needed that as a resource. But through watching you work with this individual and their pain, right, and their story and their journey, I too have been healed. And I'm like, wow. And so that was always my intent. And the beautiful thing about that is the first season on the Teen Mom Family Reunion, that's exactly what manifested. I had folks in Europe, people in Dubai, people in different countries around the whole world would just send me videos of them crying or videos of their testimony saying, oh my God, when you told Leah about her being afraid of love and not opening up, or when you talked to, Ashley and Barr about their marital issues and concerns and how she mothers him in a certain way, and he has these issues with his father and the drug abuse stuff. That's me. That's my marriage. That's my life. That's me. And what you said to them helped me and it healed me. And I'm crying the whole episode. I can't stop crying. And as I'm watching the videos and I'm hearing it, it wasn't surreal. It was a direct alignment between myself and source. And what I had already spoken and what I already knew within me was meant for me to do, and the gift that I had. And so while they're coming in, I just had this smile going, and here we are. And here we are, right? And I'm going, wow, to be able to touch people at the capacity of healing across the world by just, showing up in my pieces that used to be broken, that I now have made pieces from, and I'm sharing my pain and my tools with the world. I mean, for me, it doesn't get any better than that. And that's what that was my prayer, was let me be exactly who I am and be impactful and influential in the most positive way. And I told God, I don't want to be a celebrity unless I could be a celebrity in the sense that people look at me across the room and go, you see that woman? She changed my life. And I told God, that's what I want now. Of course, if it came through acting, and I'm not knocking any actors, okay, cool. But that wasn't something that I wanted, to be an actress and, get all this shine and gloat for that. I wanted to be the woman that they say, she changed my life. Or excuse me, my daughter is now, or my son is now pursuing a career in psychology, and they are changing lives because they're using your modality and it's working, and oh my God. And so those things are things that really intrigued me. And with the show, of course you get entertainment because it's TV, but these teen moms and dads at the beginning, they're really apprehensive about sitting with me because they've been doing this for 13 years on TV and never had a therapist on TV help, or a life coach them through some things. So they were just coming just in a situation very vulnerable, not wanting to be vulnerable, a lot of uncertainty, not knowing what the heck's going to happen and go on. And as they started to sit with me and have breakthrough after breakthrough, the person who was next to sit in my seat, the hot seat, so to say, was like, I don't want to sit with her because I don't know what's going to come up. And everyone who sits with her is having breakthrough and tears, and it's a lot. And before you know it, a huge shift took place where they all were like, can I sit with Dr. B? I think we need a session with Dr. B. Where's Dr. Bryant? And it's beautiful because they seen healing is contagious, and they seen one person heal and the other person heal, and they all wanted a piece of it. And that's the beauty of it. So it was amazing working with them, and to see them trust themselves, trust me, and trust the process. It really it made everything come really full circle, really full circle.
Nice.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Mhm.
Now, Dr. Bryant, what do you like most about being on the show? Like helping these mothers, helping them heal their problems and giving them the guidance. Can you give us a little insight?
Oh yeah. What I absolutely love the most, the epitome of you know, what is amazing about the show and me being on there with these amazing folks. I see myself in all of them, all of them. I was a teenage, I experienced teenage pregnancy. The only difference is, like I've said to them, the difference is they have their choice and their action walking around every day to remind them, right, of them being a teenage mama bear. I didn't. I had my dad was and always and still is very active in my life. And he said, hey, you are a teenager and we're not going down this route. You are not going to have this child. You may hate me now, you'll thank me later. It wasn't forced. I was all for it. I've always trusted my father's decisions. And so when he said that, I thought, okay, I trust you. Brilliant idea. I mean, I was only 14 at the time. Let's go, whatever that means. And my parents were the last people I seen walking into the clinic, and the first folks I seen walking out. And when I say that to say, when I see all of them and the dogma, the trauma, the embarrassment, the judgment, the how are you going to make it now that you have a child? You are shamed because you're a teenage young woman and you're pregnant and you're sexually active, and what are you doing? And all that stuff that comes with it. I get it. I get them. I understand them. I've been there. The abandonment that they experience, a lot of their abandonment behaviors that show up, they're familiar to me. They're not foreign to me. They don't show up in me in the same way now, as a woman who's done her work, who every day meditates and heals and works with people all day, because I've had the leverage and advantage of doing the work for 13 plus years. And so sitting with them and seeing so much of myself in their behaviors, seeing so much of myself in Ashley's venom of her tongue, and seeing her want to control everything because in her, distorted thinking, it brings her safety when that's not it at all, right? And seeing Leah shut down from not wanting to be in love because being in love didn't work for her. And it caused her a lot of agony and pain. And so she just decided to throw it away, and not understanding that throwing away love is throwing away herself. And, hope deferred makes the heart sick, and her not understanding why her heart was so sick. But she's having a beautiful man there who's saying, I want to take on you and these kids, and I want to love everything about you. And she can't understand why he would want to do something so crazy like that, because she's thrown herself away a long time ago and didn't see herself as lovable, right? And so she can't understand why this man wants that. And she just shuts down because she's afraid of even feeling love. And so, me seeing myself in her and Bar's abandonment issues and his inability to grow up, right, from the little boy to the man that he is, even though he's already a father, and how he placed his value, or allowed his father's choice with drug addiction to be the barometer of how he places value on himself. I mean, how many of us do that every day, whether it's addiction with a parent or just someone who maybe mishandled our heart or mishandled the way that they chose to love us because they didn't know how to love. And so seeing all of those things that these folks were working through were stuff that I was able to see in myself, and I recognized it. And the beautiful part about it is I recognize it in them, and then was able to see how much it was healed in me. And those are the tools and tips I was able to give them and say, hey, look, all that brokenness, I had all that brokenness, and I took my broken pieces and I made peace from that. And I want to show y'all how to do it too. And I want to show you how to be healthy, and then even seeing Brianna go through, their co-parenting issues with Devon, and Devon just trying to be the best parent he can be to two kids, one who is his biological and the other who's not, and him trying to give everything he had while he was completely breaking inside. And Brianna just not seeing the breaking piece, her just focusing on what he's not doing, but not understanding that he's doing all that he can in what he has. And so seeing that compassion come together and Divine have a total breakthrough from just accepting who he is and coming into his authenticity and saying, hey, look, I'm giving all I got. Okay. And if I can give more and when I can, I will. And Brianna saying, oh my God, I never seen this side of you. You're vulnerable, you're crying, you're sharing your emotions. Whoa. And she's in tears because he's in tears, when they really didn't have that type of relationship, but they did have a child. To see that come together, I mean, it's just beautiful. And me being able to see myself in so many of them, and from hearing their feedback, that's one of the things that they really felt that they appreciated, was she was relatable, she was down to earth, and we just felt like she got us. And so, yeah, I love that piece of seeing, we connect at the heart space, and the heart is where pain and love harbors. And so oftentimes, when we connect with other folks, we are connecting from, I see your pain and I see your pain. That's that I see you, sis, I see you too. And when you can connect there, or should I say, only when you're vulnerable, you can connect there. And that's the epitome of intimacy. It's not about penetration or laying in a bed or touching, petting on each other to get to an orgasmic peak. It's about me seeing inside of you and you seeing inside of me, either the pain that used to exist and we both healed, and so we got this thing, or the pain that still ain't healed, and I'm going, me too. And that's intimacy, and it happens from everyone, between all of us, interdependently, once we allow ourselves to be open and give ourselves a chance to love and connect and be free.
Absolutely. That's great. And you pursue group sessions or therapy workshops on the show. When it comes to these mothers, are there any practices or exercises that you use more than others to better their lives so they can become better individuals?
Yeah, my go-to exercises are always exercises that stimulate sense of self, stimulate what's going on in you, who are you, awareness in you. It always goes back to self in you, self-love. It's all the self stuff that, unfortunately, a lot of us were taught that anything self was selfish, and it is, and selfish is healthy. And I think that people need to understand that there is a healthy selfishness that has nothing to do with being self-centered, that says I love myself enough to make sure that atmospheres and environments and relationships are healthy, compatible, and conducive to what I need. And there's nothing self-centered about that. I think that, folks, if we were all more selfish in that self-loving way, then compatibility would be something that happens more often, and divorce rate wouldn't be so high, and relationships in general would last. If I say authentically that this is what I need and this is who I am, and I present as that, and I just show up as that every day, then I'm going to calibrate that which is compatible to me. Now, if I'm this way and compatibility comes to me and this is the other person, well, that means that they have to be compatible with who I really am for us to even cleave and stick. And so will we be perfect? No. But will we have compatibility at a much higher level? Absolutely. And that's what's important, is people wear the mask of, if I wear this, or if I show up as this, then I'll be able to fuse and connect. You don't connect and fuse at the mask or the intellect. You can only fuse at the heart space, which is the love, the intimacy, the freedom, and all that stuff. If you connect at the intellect, well, once that thought leaves or that memory goes, there you go. But if you connect at the heart space, you have a friend or a lover or a companion or confidant for life. Those are things that you can't make up, because folks won't remember anything about you, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. Feeling comes from a heart space. So I can have thoughts about you, but they'll leave once those thoughts leave. But if I have a feeling and connection with you, it could be 10, 15 years that goes by, and I may be able to still pick up on certain things and just say a silent prayer about you, or say, I wonder how such and such is doing. Like, wow. There's some people we just don't think about, but the folks that we do are the folks that we feel and we fuse and connect it to. And so I always take those exercises back to self. How do you open up self, right? How are you treating yourself? What is the false narrative you've been telling yourself? How often do you throw yourself away? Because whatever someone is doing or has done to you, you have already done and are doing to yourself. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to get in like that. And what they're attempting to do would be foreign. But the fact that it's familiar is because you know it. So if if someone is abusing you in a way that's emotional or dysfunctional or very toxic in your world, it's only because it's familiar to you, and you're inviting it back, not because you like it, and not because you have these issues that we all talk about that we all really have. It's because it's familiar to you. And so oftentimes people choose familiar over healthy, because healthy could be good, but healthy is not good in the sense of if it throws off our homeostasis, which is our balance. If our balance or baseline is always or has been about dysfunction, this is our baseline, your balance, and you throw in healthy, and healthy puts you here, which is greater, better, and ascending, and you have leveraged up. If you're not used to here, this can create a lot of anxiety, and it can make you very uncomfortable. You have to acclimate to the newness. You have to acclimate to better. And a lot of folks rather go baseline so that their anxiety and everything else is at a dysfunctional, calming space and familiar, then go big and say, I just got to acclimate up here. I got to learn how to breathe up here. I got to learn the language up here, because once I learn here, this is my new baseline. There is no anxiety, and the better is now here. It has now arrived. So most people won't ascend because of that. And whenever your inner being, right, spirit inner being ascends here, and you stay baseline, the human, you stay baseline, there will always be a disconnect between self, because your discernment spirit and where you're supposed to be is here, but your fear of acclimating here stays at baseline. So look at all the disparity between yourself and you. So when you have folks that come in and they create more disparity and they create more disconnect, and you're going, what's wrong with you? You're crazy. No, you got to look at yourself. You've done that. There's something in you where there's a gap and you are not connected with self. The only time that you will feel peace is when you are aligned with you. Whenever you're here, you will always feel that gap, the disparity, the emptiness, always. And then no one can come in and fill that for you. So then you're continuously be codependent, looking for folks outside of this thing to come in and pacify you, but never ever connect you, because they can't connect you. That's a you job. Until you do this, now you're not codependent, because now you're able to nest in yourself. You're not out looking for all these nests to hop in when they don't really exist. We all have to find a nest within us, and then we find another nest, and then we put those things together, and now we have a cleaving, nested relationship that's safe and free and open, but will never be perfect. Never be perfect.
Wow. Now, outside of the TV show, you are, of course, a best-selling author, fitness expert, and much more. Is there anything exciting that's coming up that you would like to share briefly?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a Dr. Bryant Mexico retreat that's coming up. It's the end of April 28th, I believe, to May 1st or 2nd. I think my dates are messed up. I'm all over the globe with traveling and retreats and speaking. And then I have my book, the ABCs to Mental Health, that's also coming out. I've also started a new group life coaching session that we do via Zoom for a lot of folks who, can't afford the one-on-one sessions, which is a lot of people. and that's okay. And so because of that, I created a group life coaching session, which consists of 8 to 10 people per group once a week. Um, and it's a members only. And so the membership is $200 a month. And then you get that 1 hour session a week, but you have a group of 8 to 10 people. Each person has about 8 to 10 minutes to share as far as engage with me. And then when they're done, if they want to hop off the Zoom, that's okay. They don't have to stay the whole time. But we will be launching that in about 30 to 45 days. We'll be launching that as well, so that everybody has a chance at getting some tools and healing their pain pockets and getting some coaching. I just think it is a human right for folks to live a good quality of life and to have to have mental health. So
Absolutely. And when we last interviewed, it was the pandemic, and you spoke about inspiring people how they can get through these the times during that period. Now that we're coming out of the pandemic, do you have any words of encouragement for those individuals who are looking to get their life back on track and living again and live healthy and just be whole again?
oh yeah, great question. Absolutely. I talk about this in session with a lot of my clients. Get linear. What does that mean? Get linear means linear like this, right? So narrow's a road to happiness, wide's a road to destruction, from what the Bible says. And I believe it. It's a principle I live by. So get linear. What does that mean? Take inventory, right? Of, okay, this is all the things that I do throughout the day. How many of these things actually bring me joy, bring me happiness? The things that do, you keep. The things that don't, you rid of quick and swiftly. Why? Because you have one job. That one job is to be happy, because everything happens in the happy. Your happy is your vortex, and everything you want is in, Abraham Hicks says it best. It's in your vortex, all the good stuff. But the vortex is a calibration of happiness and a very high vibration. And so if your vibration is low, right, or you are not in that space of just being happy and doing all the self-love stuff, guess what? You're not in the same calibration of your vortex. You're not on the same dial. It's like turning to, a radio station of say 92.3, and you want to hear jazz, but you're on 92.3, which only has hip hop. And you're mad at the radio station going, why don't you play jazz? This radio station is not meant to play jazz. It's meant to play hip hop. So until you turn your dial to 94.7, the wave where you got jazz, you will not hear any jazz. Goes back to the self job. So when you do your inventory of getting linear, you get to knock out and circumcise all the stuff that does not serve you, all the stuff that does not bring you joy, because we get caught again in that baseline dysfunction of, this is what I'm used to doing, this is what I do, this makes me feel productive, but it doesn't make me happy. Or my norm is to just kind of go on autopilot, be very empty, be very down-spirited. And so I'm going to continue to do the routine that keeps me at baseline, just right here, not happy, not really feeling anything, not a strong motivation or desire. Get rid of that stuff. And I want you to run the play of everything that makes you happy. Reading a book, working out, talking to a friend for an hour or so, text messaging every 10 to 15 minutes to accountability partner while you're working, whatever that looks like. That good stuff will recharge you in ways you could never imagine, ever imagine. There's a saying, an ounce of intervention is worth a pound of prevention. And that's what this is saying, is that an ounce of doing the stuff that just makes you happy and lights you up, oh my God, it's worth a pound of anything else you can ever imagine doing. And again, the idea is to exercise the, how do I get and stay happy muscle? So that when all the outside stuff does come, because that stuff is always going to come, it's going to continue to come, and people think it's not. There's no limitation. There's an abundance of that. The concern is where we have our free will, which is our choice, is our happiness and our joy and our peace. And as interesting as that is, the things that we have the most power over ourselves are the things that we fall the most short in. Because life is always going to give us and give us and give us. It's just created to be a giver and a taker and a giver and a taker. So we have to worry about that stuff. The stuff we got to worry about are the things that God has allowed us to have free choice and free will over, which is our peace and our happiness. And those are the things that we have to continuously learn how to choose and then continuously maintain that choice, because it is a choice and it's a mindset.
Wow.
Now, Dr. Bryant, before we conclude the interview, is there anything else that you would like to add or share, or anything that we may have not covered?
You know, I want to tell everyone, a lot of people have been asking about my first book, Mental Detox book, as far as like on my social media and emails and everything. You can go on Amazon and get my first book, Mental Detox. And then my second book will be out in a couple months. And the other thing is, you know, stay tuned for season 2, airing on MTV. We're excited about it. We have a lot of really good tools and stuff that, you know, for folks to obviously learn and to be a part of. And then the retreat. I mean, this Mexico retreat, we are limited spots, and it's on a wellness, you know, wellness hotel retreat that's specifically for it. It's not a regular hotel. Everything is wellness and yoga and meditation and calmness and therapeutic. And so it's something that's really magical. And for folks who are really serious about self-love and really getting themselves in alignment and learning these tools, this is definitely a retreat to be on, not just because it's my retreat, but we're only doing it once a year. And I, you know, if they like my work on TV and they like my work through my social media and my different publications, me one-on-one is 1,000-fold what you've seen and what you've been involved in. So I want everyone to come and get that healing and that love and really just open up self to all the possibilities, because it's important. And again, it's our birthright. It's what we're here to do, is to be happy and be in a place of peace and create an atmosphere for ourselves, because it's our responsibility.
Nice. And when you get your own show, I can't wait to see it. It's like you just empower, and I just watch your show like every day. So, you know, I'll just put that in the universe for your show, and I know it's going to come into existence. So I can't wait.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really do. And great interview again. You know, the energy was no different than when I first interviewed with Cara. And again, we just connected. And I think, did your mom walk behind the interview as well? And I got a chance to say hi to her. Was that your mom? I remember that. She was so adorable. But thank you both for for having me. And you know, just I just hopefully the intent will continue, folks that you know, view your videos or subscribe to the Consciousness magazine. I think that your guys' platform is amazing. It's perfect for folks to be able to read, learn, and to, you know, grow within their own and get tools and tips that can change your life, because that's what it's about. So thank you for doing what you do, and continue to be, you know, just a pillar and a change advocate like you have, because we need that, and we definitely need it in our community. So thank you both for doing that.
Likewise, and
Thank you as well.
Yes, yes. All right, again, we'll be in touch, and you just have a great rest of the day, and thanks again.
You as well. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.